and make money into their small pocket, which is ephemeral. Within a short time, that money is gone, right? So we're talking about something more serious. And it's only education that can distill our people who understand the implication of what they are doing, right? Many people think it's a trading affair. You can even take some soldiers, for instance, as a candidate. You take some soldiers and give a counter order so they can be captured, and you now go along and negotiate for them. And that's what's happening here. There are some people who are not expert in negotiation. Who do you trust? So, as I said earlier on, we need to really go to the drawing board and let the powers that be sit down there and talk about what we want to be or not to be. Right? That if we talk about it, then we see the modalities of whichever choice we take. Right? But some people are pretending to be trading with our people, trading with their lives. I don't think that is salutary. It's not. All right? So some people like us now sit down and watch the trend regressively, right? Unknowingly. So, as an old man of nearly 90, as little I can actually do right now.
Well, there is a little that you are doing, Prof. You know, age is in the mind. Age is in the mind. You're only as old as you feel.
Right.
But I do gather, Prof, that you have been calling for Anioma State. Now, this conversation has been going on for a very long time. And for people who don't understand, for many people in the Southeast, you know, they feel like, look, we need to have more states in the Southeast so that we can be on the same level as other states, other regions rather, in the country, because, you know, they feel like, look, we may not be as big in size, but we do need that kind of representation on the level that we're seeing that representation across the country. So that's the premise for it. But talk to us about the need for Anioma State and how much progress has been made since this call started. I don't know, maybe when I heard it the first time was about 10 years ago, but I do get that this has been going on for a very long time. So talk to us about the need for Anioma State and how far the conversation has gone in its creation, in your view, Prof.
Thank you very, very much. You've touched on something that is my passion. We know that this country has some majors and divisions and so on. So it's starting from the amalgamation itself, which is the North and the South, right? And then after we have what we call regionalization. The idea was to separate the three block powers, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas in the North. Our own problem in Anioma here is that during the regionalization, you now put the boundary to cut the Igbo block into two, one to the right and one to the left, the block to the left. And those of us who are marginalized into on the left-hand side and made with other communities have been crying since then. In 1939, my people raised a lot of objections, right? That the boundary between North and the West, the boundary between North and the East, all right, is not the River Niger or the River Benue. But the boundary between East and West was put on River Niger. And River Niger is in the middle of the Igbo block. So those of them who were marginalized to the West have been trying to go in. That's what we have been working on. And unfortunately, when we discuss it, we mix up so many things. This regional, we're talking about regions now. From now, we now come to creation of states. You now superimpose issues of creation of states on top of regionalization. We are saying no. The boundary between East and West is supposed to be a place just called near Abudu, right? And we haven't sorted that. Now you start creating states. Now have Anambra, Imo, and so on and so forth. All right? and have 5 states. Well, I agree with you. But since the Igbo bloc is deficient by one state, and the people who are in the east, in the Eastern bloc, are not helping us. Those of us who are marooned to the west, they are not helping us. All right? If I anything, they host us. We had a unit before, at the end of the day, they gave us them outside. All right? So we cannot go just into them as such. But if we are created now as a normal state, it can be zoned to the southeast. And that is apparently shifting the boundary between from River Niger to beyond to between Abo, and the next town to it. Okay? So we are very peaceful people. And the question of sending us to Southeast is one they misunderstand. Because Southeast is the Igbo bloc. And we have gone beyond the Igbo bloc to the states. Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Abia, and so on. All right? So to us here, left in the west, for us to come, if the car was out, we will now form the 6th state of the Igbo bloc.
Yes.
Well, that completes the issue. This question of pull us to go in was zoned to the southeast.
Colleague Kayla about insecurity and all of that. And one of the issues that was playing in my head is how much of the insecurity issues are really political. I ask that because, just as you are saying, there are a number of people who are not happy with the geopolitical positioning or divide that we've had over time. And so do you think those issues have any bearing, directly or remotely, on our insecurity issues?
I don't think the question of a geopolitical placing is causing us this problem. All right? I think you have more to go into the field for more. How does placing in the wrong geographic position get somebody to hire bandits, pay them, and come back to placate us? No. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't believe you that it is placing people in the wrong place. That can be just. We have been agitating for Anioma since 1939. We have not killed anybody. We have not fought anybody. Right? And I don't see any reason why that should cause the mayhem. What is causing the mayhem is still more.
Okay.
Here,
now,
Nigeria.
I hear you, sir, and I appreciate the response that you've given. Just to put that on record, that there is no excuse for anyone to foment any trouble anywhere. But then, as you said, the issues have been raised for many years, even about 20 years before Nigeria's independence. Now we have had governments, we have had people from Anioma, I dare say, who have been in the National Assembly in the First Republic, the Second Republic, the Third Republic, and now here we are. Now, I'm just wondering, Prof, how come these issues are not as prominent as they should be? Because it would seem like the political representatives from the area are not as passionate otherwise about the issue. Otherwise, I expect that a lot of that will be coming up and being front burner issues.
Thank you very much. You're right. But for one reason or the other, I've told you that for Anioma issue, we started it since 1939. And I wasn't the first person to start championing that cause. Right? We have asked for, we're still asking for it. But as I told you, something behind it, because they were to punish some people who fought a war against the British government. We call it Aye Kumeko here. All right? And that was the reason why they marooned all the Enuani and Igbo people to Benin province, where they have no man to talk about. Right? Now that it is the creation of Bendel and Edo that liberated us and put us now with our brothers at Okwane together. And that's what we're still fighting. That now that there's the creation of state, those of us who are marooned, we understand ourselves, we will form a group, right? And so forth. So I'm sorry if they're not that passionate, but we don't have a poor background, right? If you know a little bit about the man you are talking to, you see, I've been all over the world, and yet I know what's happening, how people emancipate themselves. Hmm?
All right. Well, Prof.
I'm sorry if I'm too
No, no.
passionate.
I appreciate. I think it's also an issue for some of them who have been there and who can still do something to take action.
What I'm saying is that the Anioma people were cut off during the time when we were doing regionalization, right? Our first prayer was to go back to the block. We haven't gone back to the block, then you start creating states. Again, you create about all the states that I mentioned, right? Okay, if we have shifted the boundary to include the Anioma in the Igbo state, then we now use whatever you feel marginalized as another state. That's what we have tried to do. All right? And so that sounds very simple. And that's exactly what whoever is representing us in the House is advocating.
Okay. So, what are your suggestions now? What are the options that you believe are open to achieve this agitation? More than how many years now? It's been a very, very long time. So, what are your aspirations? What are the options that are on the table that by
The
which you think that
option
this
we
can be
have
done?
is that those of us who suffered who were marooned to the side, all right, are entitled to our own state. And that's how we point on. We were actually separate communities. It was in 1989, through this effort, that we made together and formed ourselves into what we call Anioma, right? This Anioma is part of the Igbo bloc. That's one. Two, if they had allowed us to go into the Igbo bloc and the divisions are done, obviously, nobody we would have been included in the division. But they have divided the southeast, the east of the Niger, right, into states. Those of us who are around there are left now. We're now saying that we're all together form a state they call Anioma.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And that Anioma should be now pushed to the southeast. All right? That to the Igbo bloc. And that makes the Igbo bloc 6 states.
Thank you, the Obuzo of Ibuza, for granting this channel's interview and declaring our Igbo-ness. Ka Chukwu okike abịama gọzie gị nke ọma. Ma anyị nwetara Anioma ma anyị nwetara Anioma, Diọkpa Obi agụ agụ, ọ ga-adịrị gị na mma. You have fought a good fight. You know, so many people were expecting that we, the Aniomas, and mostly from the Asaba people, should have been on the street protesting against what Asaba said, if what he said is a lie. But funny enough, some of our elders have replied to Asaba indirectly. If you go to Asaba of Asaba page, as of yesterday, something actually happened. Unfortunate enough, internet will not forget. Some people are smart to catch up what happened. Now, let me read out what happened. The Otu Okiwu, see the name I'm gonna be calling, the Otu Okaiwu. That is the organization for the lawyers. Okiwu, for those who know the year Igbo. The Otu Okiwu is an association of Igbo lawyers and jurists that was formed by the late Justice CGM. Chief Chibogo Ahinze was a patron of this organization. 2 days ago, on the invitation of Chief Tony Idibe San, the Akuru Uno of Asaba, the Asaba was present at the gathering in Lagos. A keynote address was given by Chief Idibe, in which he emphatically stated that Anioma constituency is 70% Igbo, 20% Edo, and 10% Igala. He further stated that every Asaba person is Igbo. The keynote address was posted yesterday on Asaba Palace page. Comments were streaming in within minutes of the posting, and all of a sudden, the page was withdrawn. Then, guess what was written there when the page came up again? They now reposted it with the statement. They went and edited it. He said, every Asaba person is considerable and Igbo. Because they know they cannot entirely remove it. They say it's considerable and Igbo. You see, no matter how life flies, truth will surely overcome it. It is true that when life became an institute, truth sounds like rebellion. That's why people are looking at us like we are the one trying to rebel against what our king is saying or what our people have been believing. But it has been all been meted on lies. In front of him, if you watch the video, you will laugh tire. Because in the video, they were not hailing him, Nayago, Nayago, Nayago. Nayago, Nayago, Nayago. Don't know. That's why I said it is very easy. If the man believes that he's an igala man, he should swear affidavit and change his name. People, they do change of name. Change the village from Ahaba or Asaba to any igala name. Of course, tell us the village of his father. Tell us the village name of your father. Then change your village name, change your language, automatically change your name. If anybody they talk, you go say, see us, we know they speak Igbo, they speak Igala. We have been asking this question: is there any time Igbo people dominate or conquer any part of Anioma? A lot of people will say Benin people conquered us, but we are not speaking the language. But is there any time that Igbo people conquered us? This question is calling for an answer with proof and evidence. Is there any time in the conquest era where the Southeastern Igbo conquered us? Remember, none of us speak the same dialect like any part of Southeastern Igbos. So if you say that the entire Igbos in the Southeast conquered us, why are we not speaking like them? Do you get? Because we're not speaking like Nsoka people. We're not speaking like Abakaleke people. We're not speaking like Ngwa people. We're not speaking like Owerri people. We don't speak like Arochukwu people. They're different in Kano or Go or Baru. We don't speak like any of them. We have our own distinct. So who conquered us? Who dominated us? Who made us speak the language we are speaking? These are questions beckoning for an answer. And until then, we remain resolute to say that we are just lying to ourselves. Yes, it is difficult for people to swallow their pride and apologize to the public. But it's high time we do that because it is clear and obvious. Listen, many of you don't understand that what we are doing is not just because of Anioma State. We started this movement before the Anioma State creation come into play. I've been posting video back to back of what I said in 2023. Anioma State proposal was just last year. Just 1 year plus now. But we have been doing Igbo Unification Conference 2 years, back to back now, 2 years. I've been posting and talking about how Igbos we are since 2023. So it has nothing to do. And I said as of 2023 that I'm going to be here 10 years to dispute and prove that we are Igbos. So I just only did 2 years. So there are more years to come. So if you think we are doing it because you don't want Anioma to come, you are fighting it. No, you are just wasting your time because Anioma is not the end goal that what people like us have. We did not come online to start making video because we needed a state creation. When the state creation came, we buy into the idea because we saw it as more positive way to make our people become free, have a state of their own. While we see champion Anioma and Igbo unification cause using political means. But we are not neglecting the Igbos in Kogi, we are not neglecting the Igbos in Benue, we are not neglecting Igbos in Akwa Ibom, we are not neglecting Igbos in Cross River, we are not neglecting our Ukwa and the people that is in Bayelsa. And we know that a lot of forces are now speaking from the riverside, so that one is already taken care of. We are not neglecting them. We are also neglecting our brothers in Ebanke, because if Anioma come, it is a proper way to make them not to be marginalized where they are in Edo State. They carve them into a bigger family, which is the Aniomas. But with what Asaba is doing, is fighting his own brother just for his own self-glory. Now they have accepted in his page they are considerable Igbos. Why not considerable igalas? English, na mate. Why don't they consider them to be igalas? I will end by showing you this document once again. Pause and read all these documents, one after the other. Asaba is known to be an Igbo community. You see, that is why I say this and I say confidently. And I will repeat, I will explain it again. The law of the land supersede your feeling. Thank God that where he went to is the meeting of the lawyers, which he is part of those. He's a professor in law. So he went to the meeting of Undi Okiu, people that makes law. And the law supersedes what you feel. You can feel like you don't want to be called Igbo man, but the law does not respect your feeling. I feel like I want to rob and you succeeded robbing. The law does not respect your feeling. Once the law calls you, you will face the consequences. Their ignorance is not an excuse. If you go and buy a stolen phone, you don't know that the phone is a stolen phone. If the government, if the police caught you with the phone, you will still pay for it. You will go jail for it. That you don't know that the phone is a stolen phone is nobody's fault. It's your fault. So the law expects you to know what you are buying, whether it's original, whether it's a stolen product. That you don't know, I don't know, you will see go jail for it. It's just like electricity. That you don't know that electricity shocks is not the problem of electricity. Once you put your hand, whether you are aware or you are not aware, and once there's energy in it, it will shock you. Electricity will not say, because she doesn't know at the shock, make I leave you. It will shock you. That's how the law works. The law does not respect your feeling. The law does not respect your emotions. And the law of Delta State stated that all Anioma villages are all Igbos. Check it out. About 82 plus villages in the 9 local government. From Ndokwa West, from to Ndokwa East, to Okwani local government, to Anocha Oshimili, to Oshimili North, to Oshimili South, to Anocha North, to Anocha South, to Eka North, to Eka South, to Eka West. All of them, we are registered as Igbo speaking. Pause and go through all of them, one after the other. I am not the one who made this. They make their research and report and write. These things are here. This is the law of the land. So those people who sign are just signing out of anger or their political will, just like Asaba is doing. But you will not change the fact. Evidence, they say, they see you as an Igbo man. Yes, they will say it looks like a lion, doesn't mean that it's a lion. But this is not a metaphor. This is a reality. Because you speak Igbo. You practice Igbo culture. Your name is Igbo. So why do you want to tell them that you are not Igbo? I'm out of here, John.
First thing you can see that we will now move to our kids and kin, the Igbo block. All right? Two, if they have any, we have also resources that we can use to sustain us. If I've been sustaining ourselves under slavery for this long, you know what it will be when we now gain our freedom, right? So we will have enough resources to look after ourselves. If you want to enumerate them, I will enumerate them. But we are part of Nigeria, right? So we think we are sufficiently endowed, given freedom to look after ourselves like any other state.
I mean, Prof, it's a conversation. It's one that, like you said, this push has been going on since 1939, and the need for the consolidation that in the southeast is one that will continue. But in closing, as we are wrapping up with you right now, Prof, do you think that you will get Anioma State in the near, maybe before 2027? Or maybe under the Tinubu administration? Do you think you're going to get it?
I am very, very optimistic that we should have it. We overdue, right? We have been suffering marginalization since 1939. It could be earlier, but that is the regions were created then. That's when we now knew that we were being punished, right? Now we're going back to and our brothers were not sympathizing with us. It is wrong for the Igbo bloc to be divided into 5 states, where the other blocks are 6 or more. They now pleading that the opening is for Anioma, because of that first mistake they made by cutting off part of Igbo land, right? Mind them, call them whatever you call Madu, but our name is Anioma, all right? And that encompasses everybody that was marooned to the west. The Aniocha people, the Ndokwa people, the Ika people, and the Oshimiri people. That's the backbone of Anioma we're talking about, right? We're saying yes. Thank God we are talking about creating more states. Use us to send us back to the block where we belong. And that block will now have 6 states. Equalizing everybody everywhere. It's difficult. I don't see how that type of equation is difficult to solve.
Well, Prof, all the best